What's going on, people? It's Zero Gravity on the creepy column here at Big Old Belt Media. I have got another scary one that I am itching to let y'all know about straight out of Fantastic Fest once again. Daddy's Head, man. You've got to cross this one off your list. A few months back, I gave Oddity my official title for creepiest movie of the year, but I just screened Daddy's Head at Fantastic Fest, and I'm proud to report that the throne has been stolen by this messed up creature feature. Guys, Shudder really knows how to keep them rolling. Daddy's Head is both written and directed by Benjamin Barfoot, and it's the newest platform studio release. It made its premiere at Fantastic Fest and is set to drop soon on Shudder on October 11th, so we can all get creeped out together from the safety of our own homes. Sounds fun, right? Or so we thought. This film, it just makes me want to jump completely out of my skin. It's one part creature feature, it's one part home invasion, thrown together and solidified with the glue of familial trauma and grief. It's really messed up. It's super messed up. The synopsis is as follows. A boy and his stepmother fear for their safety after an eerie creature resembling the boy's recently deceased father visits them. Okay, as a synopsis, pretty straightforward, yeah. And it's executed almost perfectly. I do have some personal preferences that I would have liked to seen on screen, but I don't think they actually would calculate into whatever my final product of rating would be. That's just my preference. But the overall buzz right now can just be sifted down to you really have got to see this. Julia Brown as the widow Laura and Rupert Trumbull as this troubled stepson Isaac. They're just a match made in frustrating heaven. If heaven were a place for flawed, emotionally shackled, and just a little bit delusional of characters, Brown specifically carries a super heavy performance that's packed with so much tragedy and grief. It's almost Shakespearean. Her performance and honesty to her character is so convincing. It's actually kind of hard to watch at times. Great characters in film history are not always the most likable ones. And I think that's matter of fact. But spoiler alert, both of these co leads are decently unlikable people. But it works though. Believe me when I say it works though. So her struggle to get a grip on her alcoholism after her husband's death, mixed with the worries of what will come of her stepson Isaac, is just the perfect melting pot for a supernatural entity to come down and shake up the party a little bit with some psychological paranoia. So let's touch on that part for a little bit. The horror comes from several places in this movie, but do not get it twisted when you settle in. This is 1000% a creature feature. The unexplained visitor lives in the shadows, surprise, surprise, which we all know is horror's play place. And shadows are used in full effect, as well as that brief moment before your eyes have adjusted to darkness when you turn the lights on really quick. That's a dangerous area to reside in if you're going to be watching Daddy's Head. Let me just tell you, every instance of darkness, every unknown shadow could house a freaking nightmare. It's that scary. It's not just creepy looking, though, it sounds horrifying too. As most good creature features do, you regularly hear the threat before you actually see the threat. And this film also does adhere to the horror fans' beloved less is more phenomenon when it comes to making monster movies. Speaking from experience about that sound, though, it's also really hard to forget, too. It's one of those lasting sounds that you remember after you leave the theater, much like the Death Angels in A Quiet Place or The Babadook. You know, you remember that noise. Daddy's Head has definitely got one of them. So also, I'm pretty rough generally on jump scares, and Daddy's Head does have a couple of them, but never did they feel like a cop out, which is what I don't like, which we see way too often when it comes to jump scares. But since 99% of the focus of what's scary about this movie is the lasting dread of figuring out and acknowledging this creature, I liked a mild jump scare to break up my attention a little bit, especially because the source of this story is just super bleak. This movie is creepy, it's effective, but I'm not going to mess around and tell you that it is a jolly good time. If that scares you, then good. I guess we've reached the point then. So, Daddy's Head drops at home to Shudder on October 11th. You better keep an eye out for it because this one is creepy as all hell. And I know that's what we're all trying to get to this Halloween season. So, go ahead, give it a shot, or else Daddy's going to get you. I've been Zero Gravity. Thank you so much for watching.
I